in listen-only mode.
Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman, and we're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Lance, good to see you. It's just you and I today.
It's good to be here, Bob, and always great to see all of our friendly SBA good citizens on a Monday morning.
The numbers are constantly growing. It's we appreciate all your support. What I want to talk about today is the 159. Lance, in your newsletter, which you are the editor of, which, by the way, I think we announced a big change. We're going to combine that with underwriting, so it's going to be the UC report, underwriting and closing report. But this week's report that's going to be going out, which Delaney did a very good job on putting together, is on the 159. And what's interesting, these rules were sort of under the radar, and these are massive changes over what they've done. And so Delaney wrote about that, and Lance sort of want to walk you through it. My take is, don't get hung up on $2,500. Charge what is fair. Charge what is fair to reimburse you free work and for the borrower. But go ahead.
Right. Yeah, so the 159 report in regards to third-party agents, that's not really changed. That's the same. But where the significant changes were on the lender's packaging fee. And Bob, I have mixed opinions because I've done it both ways. We used to could charge a flat fee. One of the banks that I got helped to set up their SBA department, Bob, we just charged a flat fee. We charged $500 for loans under a certain amount. We charged $1,000 for loans in another tier, and then we charged $24.99 on larger SBA loans. And it was very simple. I mean, there was a packaging fee on every loan. We knew what it was. And then all of a sudden, SBA threw a wrench into our plan, Bob, and said, no, you can't charge a flat fee. You can't charge a flat fee on SBA loans at all. And the 50-10-7 comes back and brings the flat fee back, which, I mean, for some lenders who are somewhat hesitant to charge a packaging fee, don't be. Charge a packaging fee. There's a lot of work. Yeah. A lot of work associated. Yes, a lot of work associated with an SBA loan. So two things in the 50-10-7. You can now charge a flat fee. Actually, three, Bob. You can now charge a flat fee. And as long as that flat fee is under $2,500, you do not have to do an SBA Form 159. Now,
wait a minute. I'm going to interrupt you. So, what is $2,500 period? 0.00. Disclose or not disclose?
Yes. $2,500. According to the SOP, you don't disclose.
2501.
Now, Bob, do you wonder why I charge $24.99?
It takes away all the.
I don't always trust the SBA, Bob, so I charge $24.99 to be safe.
Look, if you charge $2,500, it's very clear you're okay. You do not.
Yeah.
You may want to disclose it, but you don't have to. And SBA is not going to come and criticize you for that as long as they see you get the 159 disclosures over $2,500. Then you're fine.
Yeah, and the one thing that Bob said when we opened, that a lot of SBA loans are a lot more work than a $2,500 packaging fee. You may have a borrower with multiple affiliates. Mm-hmm. And there's complexity, and you as a participant lender should not be afraid or shy to charge more than $2,500. But if you charge more than $2,500, you have to have a completed SBA Form 159, and you have to have itemization of the work that has been done.
Lance, we are getting rid of all that. Remember that they were saying if you charge a flat fee for everyone, you're going to be criticized. That criticism now is going away.
And I think it's a great thing, especially, Bob, for new SBA lenders who are not real sure, exactly what they should charge. Well, this gives you the opportunity. You can say,
Loans under $50,000, we're going to charge $500.
Let's go to the next slide, Michael. And there's the form. The next slide, please. Here we go. And we'll get to the hourly rate in a second. But loans less than 150, the maximum you can charge is 5%. And Lance,
Yes.
I know that you have. I know a lot of lenders say, "Hey, if it's 150, we're going to charge a nominal fee, $500, or we're not even going to, or under 50,000, we're not even going to charge a fee."
Yeah. So the fees are, and these are probably more relatable, Bob, to third-party agents than participant banks, but they do apply to participant banks as well. These are the maximums. So you can charge 5% on
Lance,
150.
Review for the lenders. What is SBA going to criticize you for the most? What is the one egregious thing that is an absolute no-no?
Any excessive fee, Bob,
No. I'm talking about double charging.
Double anytime. Yeah, you cannot. Exactly, Bob. You cannot have a packaging fee charged by a third party and then as a participant
And the lender.
you have a packaging fee as well. There can only be one packaging fee.
That's an absolute no-no. Go ahead.
The other thing, Bob, that the 50-10-7 does allow within the packaging fee is a charge for a technology fee. I mean, many of us use SBA lending platforms, and the SOP is prohibited charging anything that hints at a technology fee. So, I mean, within your packaging fee, you could have a $250 per loan. For instance, say a loan under $50,000, Bob, and you decide to charge a $500 flat fee for loans under $50,000. You can also add on a $100 per loan technology fee. So charge $600.
Yeah.
To help pay back for the
Lance,
cost.
what if I'm at a lender where, okay, now let's talk about the hourly rate, where I say, okay, I understand if I charge $100 an hour on a similarly sized conventional loan, I need to charge the same for the SBA loan. That's common sense.
Yeah.
What happens if we don't have that set? How should the lender arrive at what the hourly rate is that is, quote, reasonable and customary?
Well, I mean, you're going to look at what, for instance, a paralegal might charge.
That would be my test. What my paralegals charge me, which let's say it's $250 an hour, that's what I'm going to charge.
But I'm going to tell you, Bob, Lance is not lazy, but a simple SBA lender. If I were starting a new SBA lending department, I probably would have a flat fee structure based on size.
Yeah.
And I would leave the ability on a very complex, larger SBA loan to charge more than $2,500, but it just simplifies.
I like the flat fee, Lance. I agree with you. When you're out there talking to them, you're just saying, hey, as opposed to a nebulous figure that who knows what it is. Say, hey, for a $100,000 loan, I'm gonna charge you $700, $500,
whatever the amount you choose. But the flat fee doesn't require excessive explanation.
My thing, and Lance, I want you to challenge me if I'm wrong, but I've not heard of SBA criticizing a lender on the hourly rate, as long as it's disclosed and as long as you come up with a number. So don't get too hung up on this. In other words, go ahead.
And rules related to packaging fee, Bob, did not. Every rule in the SOP, Bob, somebody did something at some point.
Oh yeah, there's a reason why it's there. Yeah.
And it's like maximum fee can't be more than $30,000 when charged on a percentage basis. I can remember reviewing loan files, Bob, back in the early 2000s, like 2005, 6, 7, where lenders had charged packaging fees well in excess of $30,000 on SBA loans. Well, I have no idea how you could possibly justify that. So SBA has put these rules into effect to make sure it's fair for the borrowers, but also fair for the participant lender.
That is, yeah. But so keep it in perspective. Understand what's important. The hourly rate's not important. And just be consistent and make sure that your referral source, which we're not going to go and list all of them. I think we all know what an agent is or whatever. Make sure that person's not charging a packaging fee, and the lender is as well. The common one is the loan service provider, where the loan service provider was charging a fee, and then the lender was charging the fee, and that's where SBA will criticize you.
Any fees charged to the borrower, Bob, there does not need to be double dipping, meaning somebody else charges a fee for packaging and so does the bank. In any circumstance, that should not be the case.
For our 504 friends, similar rules apply. And they're all there, and you can do a fee based on the percentage of the loan amount, and there it is. And again, the 30,000 is the maximum. I guess my statement is I wouldn't be afraid of going over the 2,500 level for loans over a certain amount. You guys can pick it up. I don't know, Lance. Pick a number, $1 million, $2 million, whatever. Go ahead.
I think it's a great topic to bring up because a couple things, Bob. SBA participant lenders, do not be afraid to charge a packaging fee.
Right. That's
some of the SBA lenders have been charging packaging fees for years. They're a little more sophisticated in how to do it. So, they're probably going to continue to follow similar practices to what they have in the past, with the exception of loans or fees under $2,500. They're not going to do the $159. New participant lenders, I encourage you, charge a packaging fee, use a flat fee structure based on the size of the loan, and start bringing in some of that non-interest income. SBA loans are a lot of work, and the bank should be compensated for it.
Yeah, and the fees should be. I understand that we're very much regulated with the government, but it should be market, and it should be what is fair for the borrower, for the applicant, as well as for you. Real quick, Lance, we get this question.
Bob,
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to share a simple example. There was one bank that I worked at that I helped build the SBA lending department, and we collected a little over $100,000 in packaging fees each year. I mean, if you look at that, that's going to pay for, a team member. It's going to pay for some of the overhead of having an SBA department.
Lance, what is your opinion? This is not in the SOP. So this is Lance. And Lance's, the question is, Lance, is it permissible to charge a fee up front and then keep the fee or keep a portion of the fee if the loan doesn't fund for whatever reason?
I do believe you could, but I don't recommend that.
I agree with you 100%. It's not worth it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I think if you don't close the loan, you need to refund.
Yeah, I do not, and I know lenders are out there, do not offer the $1,000, $2,000 non-refundable fee. I think it's not worth it. There are not only the SBA, but you have other regulators, you have individual states who frown upon that. I don't think it's worth the hassle. And I would simply say, for whatever reason, some say, well, if it's because of this or that, the borrower doesn't close it. I would just cut you have so much, if you get to the point where you're going to get the loan, you have a number and it's approved, the borrower doesn't want to go through, you've lost so much money in terms of time and energy of putting it together. Just cut your losses and move on. Go ahead, Lance.
Yeah, I agree, Bob. I mean, there's nothing in the SOP that says you can't charge a packaging fee and that if the loan does not close, you can't keep it. You can't. But I just think
risk is too great, in my opinion.
Well, and it's a customer service issue, Bob. The person you collect the packaging fee from, the loan don't close, they're going to talk about you.
They're going to talk about it, and they're going to complain. Hey, real quick, change this. Anyway, that's in the new SOP. Good conversation. I'm going to go back to this slide, Michael. Lance, this question came in from Jackie, and it's talking about PPP loan and deferments. Go ahead. set us up
Well,
an answer.
there's a number of unilateral servicing actions you can do on a PPP loan that they didn't apply for forgiveness. You've not submitted for a guaranteed purchase. Now, it depends on the customer. If this is a customer of your institution, they have other relationships with your institution, then you have the option of doing a deferment unilaterally on a PPP loan. You're going to make the correct entries into E-Tran, probably craft a short memo, stick it in file, but you can do a deferment just like you could on any other SBA 7A loan unilaterally without getting SBA's approval. Now, if it's an unknown customer that has a PPP loan, I don't know why you would do a deferment. Just let it become two months past due and submit a guarantee purchase and move on down the line. But like I said, there are circumstances. I've been in two types of shops. I was in a PPP shop when it first started that was a financial institution, and a vast majority of their PPP loans were to customers. I could see many instances where you would step up and do a deferment on the PPP loan to help out an existing customer. Also been at a shop where we did loans in all 50 states, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, and none of these people were our customers. So, a deferment, yeah, there would be some circumstances, but in most circumstances, we're going to say no, pay your payments, or if they get 60 days past due, we do a guaranteed purchase. But Jackie, you can do a deferment unilaterally on a PPP loan.
Very good. Lance, we had a couple of questions on your. Oh, there we go. Let's go to that. Lance, can we refinance other institutions' 7A loans?
You cannot do, well, you can finance another institution's 7A loan. And I believe, so this is a different question than the one I originally saw. The one I originally saw was a business acquisition loan, where part of the business acquisition loan was refinancing an existing SBA loan in the shop. And yes, you can do that, but it has to be submitted GP. Now, Sherman's thrown another twist in this, processing another institution's SBA 7A loan into a PLP loan. If the original purpose was to buy real estate. There's so many questions that come up with this, Bob, because it's still, there has to be a reason to refinance an existing SBA loan. When you go to the SOP 5010-7 and, it has to be on unreasonable terms, or there has to be an added element to the
Sherman,
loan.
I would not want to get into a conversation with SBA on defending on why we did this POP and outlining your reasons. I wouldn't want that conversation. You may be absolutely right, and according to the letter of the law in the SOP, you may be on the side of the angels. I wouldn't do it. I would do it cheap.
My recommendation of refinancing any SBA loan needs to be ran GP.
Yeah, because otherwise it's a red flag. SBA is going to. Well, if it's a good loan, they're going to. Sacramento's going to approve it.
Yeah, there's so many circumstances. I mean, it's so difficult to prove that refinancing a SBA 7A loan meets the requirements, whether it's same institution debt or another institution, because all SBA loans are considered to be on reasonable terms.
Yeah,
Now there's circumstances, Bob, let's say a borrower bought a piece of real estate for $500,000 and they had some sort of issue with the building and they needed to do an additional $200,000 repair or renovation. And they went back to their existing SBA lender and said, hey, can you help me with this? And they declined it. In some of those circumstances, you could refinance the SBA loan and provide the additional information, but I still recommend doing a GP. And Russell, again, Russell, the only reason you would defer a loan that has 1% interest, in my view, is if you have other relationship items with that borrower that it might potentially impact. Say you have a borrower that has 2 or 3 loans with your institution, they've got a PPP loan, and maybe they've hit a rough spot and you want to put them in a position to succeed. Yes, you might defer it, but my take, Russell, is no, I wouldn't defer a PPP loan only in a very, very small set of circumstances.
We love the questions. Keep them coming. Jot them down during the week. Send them to us, or you can use the chat function on that. And with that, we're going to conclude. Thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a great Monday.